I've been traveling in and out of Afghanistan for much of the last 20 years. In 2010, I met Sergeant Louis Loftus. I followed his story closely.
Hi, how are you?
Met his family and girlfriend, Deidre, and watched firsthand as Loftus changed.
Loftus! Get on that f***ing gun!
From a war hero into a man struggling with PTSD.
Yeah, try not to think about it.
A man unable to control his emotions. A man that no one recognized anymore. American troops have left Afghanistan, but the war for soldiers like Loftus and his family is far from over, with deep scars and deadly consequences.
How was Louis when he came back?
He was excited to kind of come back home with me and start the next chapter of our life. So I would say when he came home, he was probably at his best the first few months. And those are probably the months that I hang on to the most because he was full of life.
And these knee pads, still got dirt in them. See that? To me, this is the biggest accomplishment in my life. When I signed out of the Army and they said, you're done, I was like, that's 4 years and 7 months of, you know, I accomplished it. You know, I felt great.
Surprise!
Hey, how's it going? I went into the Army kind of young and, you know, thinking I'm going to do this forever. And then I realized that I don't want to do this forever. I loved being in Afghanistan. That probably sounds funny, but it was such a good experience, and I fought for my country. I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of the guys I fought with and the people I met, and that's going to be a part of me forever.
Glasses up.
This is for Lulu Loftus.
This is to Louis, is for his happiness. To Louis, you're here.
When did you notice the change?
I noticed about 3 months in when there was no plans about where he would work, what he wanted to do, what he was going to go to school for. He would sleep all day and wake up in a really bad mood or a really unsettling mood. Nothing would really make him happy. He wasn't satisfied. And there was one particular night I had slightly kind of tapped him. It was nothing like I'd ever seen. He immediately jumped up, was very shaken. And he said, "Do not ever do that again to me." I knew then and there that it wasn't going to be as easy, if that's the term to use, as I thought it would be.
The reintegration.
Yes. The trying to normalize his new normal.
You know, I think it was obvious that there's things that affected me that were hard to talk about.
Do you think it had an impact on you mentally,
I definitely feel it. I've been in traumatic situations, and I guarantee that's why I have certain dreams I have.
And then things got worse.
Yes, things got progressively worse. I have holes in my wall at this point. A fan was broken in the midst of just little arguments. I couldn't even grasp any of it. I would look at the holes and I'm like, when did that even happen?
And the holes are from things he's thrown or he's punching through the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Punching through the wall.
Yeah, clear with his hand. And I think that's where the PTSD and the depression magnified that little scale that he had when he goes from 0 to 100.
I wanted to talk to someone with a PhD about it. You know, she helped me out.
What did she say? Did she say it was PTSD?
It says I was too distraught to give an accurate evaluation on PTSD, meaning I was too emotional to even be given the diagnostic of PTSD.
I was 4 months pregnant at this time, so we were kind of, I don't know, on and off. The arguments were happening all the time, so it's hard to say where we were that day. And he's screaming things hateful things. I hate you. I've killed people overseas that are worth more than you. He reached his arm over the front seat and he started choking me. Did say he wanted me to die. Did say he wanted the baby to die. I'm in the front seat, gripping his arm for my life, kicking the front windshield with my feet, screaming, hoping somebody would hear me.
I scared her. I'm sure, I'm much bigger than her. Me pulling her out of the car probably wasn't pleasant. You know, I do feel bad about that. I regretted it. I knew something bad was going to happen from it. I knew I wouldn't hear the end of it.
Your Honor, this is the state of Ohio versus Lewis Loftus.
I am sorry for what I did. I have a hard time showing my emotions.
I knew none of this was Lewis. I knew this was the drinking, the PTSD, the depression. I'm constantly trying to separate him from the person that the war and the things that he's seen had turned him into. I knew him before he came back, so to me that's what I was holding on to, was to get back even a little bit of him. I had the restraining order lifted so he could see Mason being born. And that's the day that I thought or hoped, okay, this is a new beginning, you know, here's the baby. He's in front of you, he's real.
Hey, buddy.
How do you feel being a new father?
Pretty excited, real happy. He's beautiful. And I just like being around him as much as I can. It's a good feeling. What a little baby.
How do you think it's going to impact your life?
It'll just encourage me to want to work harder and, you know, just to be a good role model for him. Every, you know, thing I do, I want him to look at, you know, and look up to me. And I want to set a good example.
So you bring him back, and it's not getting
I bring him back, and I tell him, like, seriously, we gotta get a grip on this. Like, whatever you need me to do.
He's still punching holes in the walls and throwing things.
Yes, still escalating. The physical altercation happened 2-3 more times. One of them particularly was when Mason was born. That was the only day in my entire life this far that I actually thought I was gonna die. He had punched the hole in the wall, and he looked at his knuckle like this, and he said, "You stupid bee." And he came from behind me, and he started choking me. He started choking me like this, and he was holding his arm real tight against my neck. And he told me, "Say goodbye to that baby." As I'm slowly grasping, because I could feel him getting tighter, I'm tapping him, and I'm only tapping him to let him know that I'm still there, hoping that that switch would flip, and he would just let go, and like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what I was thinking would happen, but I wanted to remind him, like, hey, you know, like,
I'm still alive.
This isn't you. Yes, I'm here. I'm not. Don't squeeze any tighter. Don't keep going. I'm just trying to let him know. And I just shut my eyes after I grasped for that air. And let me go. He let me go.
It's such a radical transformation. I've met a lot of soldiers. I've met a lot of people. And this is going to sound strange, but Lewis was a sweet guy.
Mm-hmm.
This is not like him.
Yes, the most sweetest soul you probably could ever meet. Absolutely. I'm so thankful for the things that he's taught my children, the things that he's learned there. But I will say that that part of his life just made life never the same on any level.
And then it came to a head.
Yes. So
Came to an end.
There was a situation at my home. Our laundry is down in the basement of the building, and Mason was helping me, or whatever you want to call it, helping me carry it up. I dumped the laundry out, and a syringe falls out with a needle cap on the other side of the laundry. On top of my son, on his leg, he obviously did not notice. When I kind of looked at it, I've never seen one before.
It didn't puncture his skin.
No. It was you. It was that made me feel like less of a mother, because I put my son in this situation, and I didn't have to take his dad back. I didn't have to give him so many chances. And I met him on the patio of a place nearby, and I said, "I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to corner you. I don't even want to be here, but I need you to tell me right now, and just make this easy for us. what drugs are you doing and how bad is it? Here's Lewis, hands up. He goes, fine. I've been doing heroin. And I think physically my mouth was, jaw dropped. He said, I don't know why I'm doing it, Deidre. It just makes me feel numb. That's all I can say. I don't feel anything when I'm doing it. He said, so I wish I could tell you if I'm gonna stop, why, or you know, what I'm thinking when I do it, what triggers me to do it, but all I know is the feelings that I had a few back when I got home, I don't have while I'm under the influence of that.
So he was self-medicating his
Yes.
PTSD with heroin.
Yep.
How did he die?
He died of an overdose. He was found face down in his bed.
Your kids, how much do they know about all of this?
My kids. So they were 5 and 6 when this happened. And I said, do you guys know what happens when you have a bad heart? And Mason said, yeah, you would die because you need your heart to live. And I started getting tears in my eyes. Mason goes, Mommy, why are you crying? We don't have bad hearts. And I said, no, honey, we do not have bad hearts. I said, but Daddy had a bad heart. Mason stared directly into my eyes. And he said, how bad is his heart, Mommy? And I literally saw the water fill up in his eyes. And I said, Mace, I am so sorry, but your guys' daddy died. And I feel like I couldn't even believe myself that I just said those words to them. And Mason immediately started pleading, no, Mommy, no, please. Can we get him another heart? Mommy, please. It was probably single-handedly the worst moment of my entire life. And I will never get that look out of my face. That look that Mason gave me when there was a clear understanding that...
When he got it.
Yep, when he got it.
So, which brings us to now. U.S. is leaving Afghanistan. He served there. He fought there. This war changed him. You are still living with the consequences. How do you feel that the U.S. is now packing it in?
Relieved for everyone else that might have been in my position, or is in my position, or was in my position. The second thing that comes to mind is extreme, guilt to think of all those men coming home off that green ramp and just dispersed into the world to fend for themselves. It makes me sick to my stomach.
How does it look?
Because I watched one fend for himself, and I watched it kill him, literally.
You didn't deploy.
No.
But the war came back home to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same.
Absolutely.
And we love you.
Love you, Daddy.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time in like a few months.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.